I agree, but I'm just commenting that it seemed like a really weak story point. It's like their power wasn't contained in anything like this beforehand. No other Toa literally in the universe has any kind of power container such as that. Why the hell does this apply to the Toa Nuva for some reason? And why is it never spoken of again afterwards? Think about it this way. After the Great Spirit is awakened and subsequently destroyed once it was taken over by Pterodax, that taken with it, not to mention being completely wiped out by the Borok since it was kept in their Suva on the island of Matanui, or Metru Nui, which was also destroyed. Shouldn't their elemental powers be gone again?
It says here, okay, this is what it says here about after this incident, they were moved to more secret and hard to reach places where they have been since taken to Metru Nui. When Tahu was devolved back into his Toamata form by the Kanohi Ignika, the connection to his Nuva Sigil was broken. Blah, blah, blah. After the Matoran universe was destroyed, they were wait. Tahu was reverted back.
Yeah, another weak story point. Basically, they did the stars. You've seen the stars line, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Well, basically, that was also a story point, but a very weak one at that. Apparently, during the battle, Matanui spoke to him, said he needed to be in his original form in order to be compatible with the golden armor, and then that happened. The only reason it happened was so that they could get away with rehashing the old set in a new form. It's not much different. It's not much different than the other ways that they tie in the set designs to the story, but this was just the weakest point they had done to it yet. But anyway, go on about the Nuva Cube.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it says.
So what happened to it after what happened after the universe was destroyed?
It was taken to Spherus Manga. You know it says universe, but it's just a freaking moon. Totally not the entire universe.
No, it's not even that. The Matoran universe is literally inside Matanui's body.
That's pretty ass.
I guess you didn't know that, did you?
No, I did, but I forgot.
Right.
See, but whenever I think of it, I always remember, you know how they showed the entire planet on, like, with Matanui on top? I mean, the island, not the guy.
Yeah.
Like, there's an entire planet. I guess theoretically you could swim out there. There wouldn't be anything, but
Well, as far as I'm aware, the only land masses that have actually been spoken about were Voyanui and Matanui.
Yeah,
the rest was just water.
Theoretically, there could be other ones, but who cares?
Now, that's another story point with continuity errors. Look at actual shots of Aqua Magna from, like, the comics. It's all water. Then you watch Bionicle the Legend Reborn, and you see a fuck ton of continents and land masses all over the damn thing. In the introduction sequence where Matanui is awakened, or rather exiled, and also, while you're in that same sequence, actually, you see Matanui rising from the vantage point of another island. Like, you're basically, the camera is set up on a beach, and you see the water start to ripple and Matanui come out of the water. Not come out of the island of Matanui, mind you, just coming out of the water itself.
Okay, I see it now.
The introduction sequence to The Legend Reborn was very non-canon-ish. Like, even the scenes that take place inside the robot don't make sense if you take into account that it's not just a singular power plant, it is the universe in its entirety. Cities, continents, islands. It's not just a workplace or a station or a body. It is literally a universe.
That's weird though. So when they move, so
There
when
was
he
a
moved
map.
around,
There was a map of Matanui made back in 2008 that basically just showed the continent system. Like the southern continent is in his pelvis, Metru Nui is in his head, etc.
I saw it. But what I don't understand is, after they...
Hello?
Like, after... What was I gonna say? Like, you know how... Like, when he gets up, wouldn't that screw with gravity?
Artificial gravity system.
Oh, okay.
However, I can only imagine the havoc caused when Pterodax actually died. Because there were still beings inside at the time of his death, and when he finally crashed to the ground on Barra Magna, everyone crawled out of his head.
Everyone?
Everyone who, assuming wasn't dead on impact when the artificial gravity system broke down and suddenly north was up. Can you imagine how that would operate? Is like you're just going about your business in a battle, and then all of a sudden you just start flying off to the north as if you were falling, or the south, I should say.
Huh.
What? What?
So, Rudaka didn't die?
No, that was established a while ago.
No, I meant afterwards, obviously.
Oh.
No, she was taken to Spherus Manga with everyone else.
That's another, speaking of which, there's another cliffhanger that Greg left off that I want explained.
Like, come on, she was like one of the only villains left, I guess?
After the battle, there was, in one of the serials, it was left as a cliffhanger that basically what was left of the Paraka and a few other villains was combined to make some sort of Titan enemy for what remained of the Dark Hunters, and
wait,
the remainder of the substance that was used for that, I believe, was also used to put the Toa Mari, all 6 of them, under mind control, and that was never concluded.
You mean all 5 of them? Matoro would be dead.
Right. Well, what remained of the Toa Mari are basically under the control of the Dark Hunters now.
Wow.
That was never concluded because fuck you, Greg.
So the
and yes, I say fuck you. Yes, I say fuck you, Greg, because it was his. It was left to him to finish it by Lego, and he just didn't.
So the Shadowed One controls them all now?
Essentially, yes.
Wow. Dude, like, it basically, from what I'm getting, the Matoran universe all goes to fucking hell after I stopped reading.
Essentially, yeah.
Wow, what a point to stop. Like, I couldn't have chose a worse point at all if I tried.
Well, for the most part, once everything is back on Spherus Magna, there is a degree of peace, but there are still stragglers like the Dark Hunters. You know, like they have like one fortress off to the north somewhere or something. But that's all that's left. All the Makuta are dead. There's literally nothing left of the species because after Makuta took over Matanui's body, he killed off every other member of his species just to be certain that he wouldn't be usurped.
Usurped.
Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine him doing that. Wow.
The only other Makuta that lives is, I forget his name actually. I think it was, Mutrix?
Is it Miserex?
Miserex, yes, that was it. Yeah, that's the only other Makuta remaining alive, and he is... the only reason he's still alive is because Pterodax sought fit to give him a different punishment. So he is trapped. I believe he's either trapped in an illusion or a painting.
Let's see. Bezon. Okay, let's see. Pterodax. Mizrax remained trapped in the illusion, entirely convinced that it was a two-dimensional picture. Blah, 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 blah.
Right. I knew it had something to do with painting.
Blah, 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 blah. So...
Vizon is still alive, but due to having a mask of dimensional gates fused to his face for about 2 years, up until Spherus Magna happened, he was phasing between dimensions like he was in, I don't know, he was in a weird TV show or something.
Sliders?
Yeah, Sliders, yeah.
Okay.
It was basically that kind of plot, and the only time he actually gained control of it to an extent was after he made it onto Bota Magna to get I think one of the members of the Order of Madanui and Liwa out of an insane great being's prison on Bota Magna, which was also never concluded, mind you.
So, wait. Zaktan is alive?
He was. I think he was...
No. Pterodax supposedly killed him, but somehow he didn't die, and then it just ends like that.
Last I heard, what remained of the Paraka was put into the mixture that the Dark Hunters made to create some kind of Titan that was also never explained. Because that was a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
they made something that seemed to be an all-powerful being of some kind, but it was never explained exactly what its purpose was because fucking cliffhanger.
Skakti fusion. Blah blah.
No. The Skakti fusion was...
No. That's what it says here. Blah blah. Makuta Pterodax after taking control. Blah 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 blah. Look, apparently.
Yes.
It just says here. Energized Protoderus fused the beings into a single energy entity. The entity requires to be fed, offering them a gift. Skakti willingly approached the fusion, closed its eyes. It also influenced the nearby Tomari who abandoned their espionage mission to serve the creature. After the death of Pterodax, the fusion led the crowd of Skakti and Tomari out of the Matoran universe, utilizing its power to create a section of the robot to disappear and form an exit. It led the group through the newly formed jungles of Spherus Magna, eventually arriving on the shores of Aqua Magna. Upon conversing with Skakti, the fusion created a large fortress and cliff near the ocean. A powerful entity is the name for the planet Anona. I don't know what that is. Soon attacked, blah blah. Fusion emerged from within, confronted. It attacked whatever that is. Blah blah. Okay, so whatever this fusion thing is, it just cliffhanger and nothing really happens.
Now see, I would have actually found it kind of interesting if they had made it be Ernok. You remember what Ernok is, right?
How does that?
Yeah, basically it was just, from what I gather, it was only a myth, similar to what Kitongu was, but it was basically just a tale told around Skakti battle fires or something that basically the entire species feared.
Look, man, Zaktan was cool. All the rest of the thumb were pretty meh, but Zaktan was badass.
Vizon for the win. Fuck the rest. Vizon for the win.
Wait, the Toa Hog?
Oh yeah, after a certain point, the Rahaga, But basically, they blackmailed Rudaka into reversing the curse. So the Toahaga were brought back.
What ones looked like, or is it just lol?
Huh? What?
Never mind. Never mind.
There are Bionicle Next Generation models for the rest of the Haga.
Really? I'm gonna look at this. Gaki, no, I already know what Aruni looks like. Pokes, I don't freaking know. Kalis, Bomanga.
Just look up Toahaga on Google and it'll be one of the first things to come up in an image search. Mind you, none of it's official, but it's all that we've got at the moment.
Found it. Let's see what we got here.
Also, the reason none of them have gold armor in that screenshot is because they were built for the Empire alternate universe.
Why would they have gold armor? Wouldn't they all have, like, silver and gold?
Don't you remember Iruni and, well, Iruni had gold armor, but,
Silver, that's why I mentioned it.
Well, the point is they don't have their metallic armor because they weren't...
yeah, okay.
...in the same universe.
I like how cool Aleph, whatever.
I think in the movie his name was just pronounced Coolus.
Yeah, Coolus, whatever. The point is, I liked how he was the guy who taught what's his face to speak what Nuju to speak that language.
Bird?
Yes, Bird.
Transcended speech, my ass. You're just speaking bird.
Be used for melee combat. Obviously, the sword, the spear can be used for melee combat.
You know, that's another thing that I just thought of that annoys me about Bionicle the game. There's a cutscene in which Nuju speaks to Kopaka.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I got super pissed when it happened.
Yeah.
Been like...
Huh?
I hated how they rarely, if ever, used their weapons as weapons. For some unknown reason, I never understood. It was rectified later on in the series, but early on they never did it. It pissed the fuck off me.
What's the difference? They're not supposed to be used like that.
Oh yeah, so I have a sword, yeah, but I can't use it. Why not? Because the writers say I can't.
They're just, basically they're just tools to channel the elemental energy.
But but later on in the series, they basically said screw that, and they did it a lot. I remember Tahu had a sword fight with Zaktan. And I remember apparently it pissed parents off.
How the hell do you have a sword fight with someone who's carrying a giant pair of scissors?
Look, I don't know. But remember, Zaktan stabs Tahu in the chest and then like vibrates his molecules to fuck him up. And apparently that was too violent. And nothing like that ever happens again.
I still remember the controversy over Predoc.
Look, I got so mad because I was just like, dude, They're swords. What were you expecting? No one to get hit?
Well, you know another thing. Well, first of all, I don't know if you knew about the controversy behind pre-doc, but basically,
I kept telling my friends about it. It's like, oh no, that red looks like blood.
At the time, I heard that they remade the model without the coloring in a new, like a secondary release, but I never actually confirmed that. But it's been theorized that aside from development hell, one reason Bionicle: The Legend of Mata Nui wasn't released was because it was too violent to be released so soon after 9/11.
Oh, what? Look, man. Look, apparently the red markings were supposed to be blood, but then they're not anymore. They were designed to be blood from
Retcon!
But then they're just like, nope, they're natural now.
I'll bet you that in the Japanese comics, they were actually blood.
Like, man, I mean, come on. Oh no. What organic animals could he eat? Fish? Oh, Jesus Christ, no. He ate a fish.
Well, even then, there aren't any real... All the organic beings seem to have been contained to Bara Magna or died in the shattering. All that's left is Rahi.
I remember there's seagulls. I wonder if Seagull has an article here.
Well, that's the thing, too. The Legend of Mata Nui had those organic seagulls in the first introduction cutscene, but in the build that was previewed by Red Quark, they actually changed the model to a Rahi.
Why?
I don't know, but apparently in what was to be the final version of the game, there weren't going to be any of those organic animals anymore.
Silly.
That's literally all they ever did to change that cutscene, too. They just replaced the organic bird with a biomechanical one. Alright, I think I'm going to finish the boss battle.
Krana. Here we go. Let's find out about the Krana. I would like to know. Original Krana were created by the great beings from the remains of the process which created the first Matoring that have been made. They exposed the remains to energize protodermis. The mixture turned not only into Krana, but also Zyglak. I remember reading that. Barag were later taught how to create them on their own. Oh yeah, I remember Greg Farshty told me made a thing about this a long time ago.
Huh.
Yeah, but he refused to re-say it. You remember a long time ago on BZPower how it used to have this thing that said Ask Greg, and it used to have like a bunch of answers and questions listed off?
You mean before he just started answering any private message that came his way?
Yes, and before we had that big topic, yes. One of the questions was, how are the Krana made? And he said they're they're made involving some sort of primordial soup. You don't really want to know. And that's what he said. And now, I'm reading this. The Barag were later taught how to create them. They were given energized protodermis to dip an object into, which later becomes a Krana. There you go. Primordial soup. But apparently that's just protodermis, but whatever.
Huh.
This was in 2002, so what are you expecting?
Yeah.
So wait, does that mean that so I assume it only works on inanimate objects, because otherwise that one in the Toa Nuva would eventually turn into Krana, which would be really fucked up.
No, energized protodermis affects things differently depending on essentially their destiny. It's basically controlled by Mata Nui to some extent. Like, it's been explained in certain places where basically if you go into energized protodermis and you're not destined to become anything special, you'll just be mutated beyond all recognition. But if you are supposed to become something different, like say the Toa Nuva, or something to the effect of a Krana or something, then that is what you shall be.
Mm-hmm. Didn't what's-her-face get hit by whatever protodermis, or am I thinking?
You'll have to be a lot more specific than that.
She shapeshifted.
Again, you'll have to be a lot more specific than what's-her-face.
She was the Rahi that could shapeshift. She had her own frickin' book.
Oh, Kraka, thank you.
Yeah.
No, she didn't ever, as far as I'm aware, she didn't ever encounter energized protodermis.
Wait, after she found the Kraka, blah, 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 blah. So she's on Spirits manga too?
Yeah.
Did we ever find out what the answer is?
What?
The answer. The Tatorak keeps asking.
Oh, I think it was something... I think it was something to do with the Great Spirit. You'll have to look it up.
Okay, here we go. Come on, it's gotta be here somewhere. It's the most important thing. Not important. The most interesting thing about the entire character. And if you don't mention it here, I'll be an insult.
It was explained at one point.
Okay, the Tatorak, blah blah. The Tatorak was drawn to Metronui by Brutaka by his Kanohi Olmak for fun. What a simple explanation. It went on a rampage, blah blah blah. Kraka got it, I know. Seeking for an answer to a question, although Rahaga pokes theorized it could ask how it came to Metronui. Makes sense, but I assumed it was more deep than that. But I guess not. It's kind of lame.
There are other little interesting things like in the story, like when a large enough group of blade burrowers get together, they'll start digging the shape of the symbol of the shattering.
Wow. So wait, Brutaka is locked up?
Last I heard, he was in the pit, yeah.
I thought he was helping with the... Oh wait, but I never finished reading that.
He was released from the pit under the condition that he helped find Miserix. But he needed a device to breathe on, to help him breathe on land, much like
everyone else who went to the pit.
Yeah, and came with them, because I think one or two of the Baraki also went along on that mission, as well as
Karapar and the praying mantis one.
Right.
I know Karapar dies to the thing that's like Cthulhu.
Yeah, Trencrom.
Or as I like to say, the thing that's like Shumagorath.
Hey look, I'm fighting Vizon as Vizon. That makes so much sense.
Gotta shoot him with those on. You know, without Vizon's cape, he looks kind of lame. I mean...
Say something, you faker! Say something, you fake Skokti!
Is this the last boss?
No. Wait, well, it is the last boss in the game, just not at this point in the game.
Does he turn into... He does turn into the dragon, right?
No.
No? Oh, frig off. And you don't fight Umbra either, do you?
No.
That's pretty sweet.
Basically, you walk down this staircase, You jump in this portal and you fight Vizon.
That's ass. Shouldn't you fight freaking...
Oh, look! This is the stairway of life. These 10 steps.
Dude, you were supposed to go down like a billion chambers. It's badass. It made for perfect game design. You could, like, straight up, the last area is a big-ass dungeon with a bunch of stairs and, like, boss battle every so often.